Hey there, guys. What is going on? Evo here. And yeah, so basically today I'm making this kind of short video form again. And we're basically just going to be talking about the PTB and my thoughts on what was going on, because obviously this chapter is not what we expected from the trailers. Now, the trailers kind of made this all seem like a robotic outer space killer. Honestly, there was a time when I was thinking it was actually a licensed chapter. I didn't I really thought we were getting Predator here, personally, because that's kind of what it looked like to me with the skulls. And obviously, in Predator, the skulls are kind of a big part. Like, you always see them ripping out people's skulls. I just thought for sure this has to be the one that we are getting Predator. And honestly, when PTB came and we got the full trailer and all that, I was kind of like really disappointed, but I was still optimistic because I was like, okay, it's a girl killer, so obviously, this killer has some crazy potential, as we've seen with Huntress and Spirit, and Nurse. So I was kind of like optimistic with it. I was like very intrigued, I guess. Um, and I was pretty interested in seeing how the ability would work, because in the trailer you get to see the drones, and I was like, okay, this drone's ability has potential. Like, if they do this right, it could be monumentally game changing. And I honestly thought that the drones, just based on the trailer, I thought the drones would be like tracking for the whole game, so you'd always get to see where they are. And I thought this could be actually pretty game changing. If you knew where people were, run something like Plaything, and you would have no terror radius and know exactly where people are. That was not the case as soon as PTB dropped. When PTB dropped, I played this killer a little bit, and I was going to record. I actually started recording, and I stopped with one game. And the reason was because I thought to myself, I went, this is so bad. Like, this killer gameplay is not fun at all. It is actually, in my opinion, the worst chapter we have gotten. I would argue it's worse than Trapper, only because her ability does basically nothing. It prevents looping, yes, but Trapper's ability does the same thing and gets you an injure in the process. It's so bad, and both Trapper and hers can be destroyed. The only plus side with hers is that you get to track them for a little bit, which aura reading. Not really sure why they thought that tracking was a good idea, because we have aura reading in the game that's way more precise tracking and honestly just better tracking. And the only actual viable strategy I found with her, I played a good 10 hours with that PTB just to see, because I wanted to make sure, I'm giving everybody the best information I can on this. And I came out of that PTB with one strategy that worked. It was old Demogorgon Hex Devour of Hope build. It's essentially where with Demogorgon you would place his portals on top of the Devour totem, and anytime they walked near it, you would get alerted as to them walking near it, the Devour, so you'd be able to know if somebody saw it, and go right back to it and basically hit them. And you would get free hits that way, free chases, and defend Devour like the entire game. That has since been actually kind of removed from the game, which I do think is good, but yeah, she plays the exact same way. You place the drone on the Devour totem, and you kind of activate it when you think someone's there. And even if you don't activate it and they stay in the radius, it will, expose them for a bit. But all in all, it's still not very good. It's kind of just, her only strategy she can use. Now, I have a couple of theories as to why they didn't just go with Predator here. And make like a totally dope Predator. Now, there's a full Mint Skull video, which I will link in the description below, where he actually goes through the similarities between Predator and her, and they're very similar. Like, they are almost identical in a lot of ways, but it's really weird. Here's what I think they're trying to do, and I think it's really scummy and scammy of them. Granted, I do kind of have the idea that Behavior is a very money-hungry kind of company, as most companies are. But what I think they were trying to do here is make a Predator-like character, so that way people would buy the character as an original chapter, and they were going to release a Predator skin. And I think what they're trying to do is make it so you have the Predator skin that you would buy for $20, which is every kind of basic cosmetic. You would have to buy like a $30 pack just to have enough, but then it's only really like $20 the skin. So they want you to buy the $20 skin, which is more than any other DLC, I believe, that we currently have, and you would be buying the base character, which is another like $7. So that's like almost $30 for one DLC. That's my theory behind it. Now, my suggestion to you guys, if you guys want the Predator skin, don't want to pay, $30 for the DLC, buy her and the characters with iridescent shards, and then when Predator skin comes out, just buy the skin. That is the easiest way to get around it, but I'm telling you guys, she is not good. Her perks are honestly the worst perks I've ever seen. I think in the entirety of Dead by Daylight's release, she actually has the worst perks. That is saying something, considering we have someone like Huntress Lullaby and Beast of Prey and, a bunch of the Huntress perks, Territorial Imperative. All of those are pretty much useless. And I think that the Skull Merchant is more useless with her perks and power. Put those in the same category. Perks and power, more useless. Her add-ons are not terrible. I actually have to give credit to Behavior. Her add-ons are pretty fun. But she's kind of like has so many abilities, but she's good at none of them, so it doesn't really make up for it at all. Now, they have recently released some leaked little patch notes, I guess, for what they're going to be doing to the chapter. And it's not looking good. They're just lowering some of her timers by a little bit, which won't actually solve anything because she still has the drones. She still has the main power that is useless, and that is literally a less useful knight. It's like, what were they thinking? Oh, I really, really would love to go into their development team and be able to give them a killer idea, because I have so many better killer ideas than that one killer. Literally anything. For instance, giving a twins a buff is one idea. Maybe they should slow down the chapters even. Don't release a chapter every month. And really actually take your time with the chapters. So that way you kind of get a little bit more time. If you literally said we're releasing 2 chapters a year, but they were super good chapters, and you just maybe did a map rework, I don't think anyone would have a problem with that. And I think even if you did some killer works, where you make, Pig a little stronger, give a little better add-ons to people like Hillbilly, I don't think anybody would have a problem with this. And I actually think your player count would increase, because someone's main who has just gotten nerfed or whatever would actually be able to they'd be able to play him again in the current state of the game. For instance, Myers. Myers is one that is either a really strong killer or a really dumb killer. In my opinion, no add-on Myers is kind of useless, and it's very hard to keep up with some games with a no add-on Myers. But if you run Scratchmere, for instance, Tombstone, any of those, you're super strong. It is really unbalanced right now for some of the killers, where they don't have a strong ability at all, but their add-ons are super, super strong, and you really need the add-ons to come in and play. For instance, another one I think is Pig. I think Pig's add-ons are great. I actually really like the add-ons for Pig. The issue I have is her ability. Her ability is very dependent on that first down, and if you don't get that first down, it's kind of, all going downhill from there. I just think they've fallen into this loop of releasing chapters way too quickly without thinking it through. And I think if they thought it through more, maybe gave an update to a map or, visuals or anything else other than another chapter every, 3 or 4 chapters a year. I don't know how much they release at this point. I think it's 4 or 5. But if they literally just cut it down by 1 chapter and worked on the killers they already have, show them some love in the current meta, maybe work on perks, it would be a huge game changer, and I think it would solve a lot of issues with the killer community and with the game right now. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. I guess we're going to have to wait and see how this patch actually affects the game. And yeah, the day the killer comes out, I will be doing a bunch of killer gameplay. Probably not very much Survivor gameplay, but a couple of days after there will be a bunch of Survivor videos too. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out and have a great rest of everyone's day. Bye, guys.